Today we're going to look at skins in CS2 that have a pearlescent effect on them, where the skin changes color when you move the gun around. Now, the total number of skins that actually have this effect in-game is pretty low, so I will cover all of them and explain how the color shift effect works on each of these guns. There are a few skins that are technically pearlescent, like the Dream Glade and Coalition, but the effect is not visible enough in-game, so they will be honorable mentions. The skins are also listed from lowest to highest price, so it's easy to find skins in your budget, and with that being said, let's get into the video. First up, we have the Glock 18 Clear Polymer, which is the cheapest on our list at 80 cents for factory new. Despite being the cheapest, it has one of the best color shift effects in-game, where the slide changes color from blue to red when moving the gun around, and inspecting the gun changes the slide to a tan color. Now, most pearlescent skins only change color when inspecting and reloading, so this is one of the rare cases where the colors change when you move the gun side to side. Since clear polymers are so cheap and have active pearlescence, this is definitely a great deal in terms of price and looks. Next up, we have the NGEV Ultralite, which is also 80 cents for factory new. Most of the skin is covered in camo, but the arrows in the middle do change color. However, unlike the polymer, it only changes color when you reload and inspect. At idle, it will have a pink hue, but changes to a light green during animations. That's about it for this gun, so let's move on to number 3. The Exoskeleton is a great budget op at $360 for minimal wear, because it has the same type of pearlescence that the Gunger has, but less pronounced. The entire gun has a light purple sheen to it when idling, and inspecting or reloading turns that purple into a light blue. This is one of the best color shift effects in-game, and it really pops here since the skin has great 3D mapping as well. There's only 2 ops in the game that have this effect, so the Exoskeleton is a great choice if you're looking for something that's budget friendly. At number 4, we have the AK Nightwish at $9 for field tested. While I do find this skin to be a bit noisy in design, the swirls and dragon in the middle change colors when the gun is inspected and reloaded. All of the accents individually change color, so each part will look different when holding the inspect, and this is probably the main selling point for most who get this skin. The actual background is static, but besides that, it's a cheap covert that doesn't show anywhere in field tested condition. Moving on to the Mac 10, we have the Discotheque at $11 for factory new. This skin only changes colors when you're inspecting or reloading, so moving the gun side to side will have no effect on the color. But besides that, the actual color shift here is very noticeable, with different parts of the gun changing colors depending on the angle you hold it at. Idling will make the gun cyan yellow, and inspecting changes it to purple pink. If you like bright skins and want dynamic colors, this is a great alternative to the Mac 10 Fade. The second AK on the list is the Headshot, coming in at $13 for field tested. This is another rainbow colorway that changes when being inspected, and this effect is not active, so it won't change colors when the gun is moved side to side. The white parts and the letters are static, but everything behind it does have this effect applied, and it's also visible on the back of the dust cover as well. This is another skin that is noisy in design like the Nightwish, but if that's what you're into, then the price will be quite appealing. For the longest time, I had no idea that the Monster Mashup had a color change effect, but if you look closely at the body of the gun, it changes from dark green to bright green when inspected. It's also visible on the letters near the slide, but the effect on those decals is a lot less pronounced than the middle part. This is the cheapest USPS with a pearlescent effect, coming in at $24 for minimal wear, though I do recommend factory new since the skin tends to wear pretty bad. The first print stream skin we have is the Deagle, coming in at $33 for field tested. The print stream skins in general have a really good wear pattern, so field tested looks near identical to factory new depending on the floats. Now, in CSGO, these were the definition of pearlescent, changing colors at every moment, and in CS2, they are a shell of what they used to be, since they don't have that anymore. They technically still have a pearlescent sheen on them, so I do have to include them on the list, but it's nothing even remotely close to CSGO, so I do hope that they fix it at some point. At the same price point, you can also get the USPS print stream and field tested, and the same thing applies here as the Deagle. The white decals have a rainbow sheen on them, but the gun barely changes colors when being inspected. It's still a good skin, but it's currently missing the main feature that made print streams so desirable. The first and only Mag 7 here will be the Prism Terrace, and the rainbow effect here is tuned all the way up. All of the rainbow accents change color when reloading and inspecting, and it even actually changes colors when you shoot the gun as well. The speed of the color changing is also one of the highest in the game, so if you like your skins to look like RGB strips, look no further. You can get this for $45 in factory new, and the 3D block design actually pairs really well with the rainbow colorway that we see here. Most people probably missed this one, but the Famas Prime Conspiracy does change colors depending on the angle you hold it at. It's most noticeable at the light blue parts, which get a cyan tint when being inspected, and the other areas change hues to slightly darker colors. I find this skin to be highly underrated, and if you're interested, it comes from the Control Collection at $80 for factory new. Waters of Npace has a very unique color effect that is only found here, so I will mention it briefly. The colors change from light blue to dark blue, and the effect is active, meaning you can see the colors changing when moving the gun side to side. The color borders also move in size as well, so it's something that can only be found on this gun, and while the skin isn't necessarily pearlescent, I still wanted to mention it on this list. This will cost around $90 for factory new. For the last print stream, we have the M4A1S coming in at $150 for field tested. The pearlescent sheen is way more visible here since the gun is larger, but I still hope that Valve fixes these skins so they look the same as the CSGO versions. If you inspect the M4, the colors will change from white to a light pink hue, but it's barely visible if we're being honest. It's still a great skin overall, but it's a shame that the skins once known for their color effects don't actually change colors anymore. From the St. Mark collection, we got the Midnight Lily, which goes for $275 in factory new. The base silver color is static, but when you reload the gun or inspect it, all of the flower decals will change to different colors, giving you a rainbow effect throughout the gun. This effect is not active, so it doesn't change when moving the gun side to side, but it's still a wonderful AUG skin that fits really well with hollow stickers that have rainbow colorways on them. The first and only P90 skin with Pearlescence is the Astralyman Gunger, with a price of $275 in factory new. What's interesting is that this is the only Jormungandr of the three to have this effect. The Flame and Emerald versions have static colors. Idling the gun will keep a green sheen on the whole gun, which turns into blue when inspecting, and it's one of the most noticeable color shifts out of any skin in the game. It's also one of the rare cases where the whole gun changes colors, instead of just the pattern overlay that we saw on most skins throughout the list. And finally, we have the most expensive skin on the list, which is a factory new Gunger at $11,500. The glowing purple sheen is visible at all times on this gun, on parts like the scope rings, and the skin goes from purple to blue when inspecting. The Gunger has every single desirable effect you could think of, like 3D maps, metallic reflections, pearlescence, glossy textures, and multiple pattern overlays, so it's obvious the color shift effect here looks the best. But then again, this skin does cost over 5 figures, so it's pretty much expected. So that's everything that I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, consider subbing to the channel for more content like this, and in the next video I will be rating viewer glove knife combos with Moody, so definitely stay tuned for that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and see you in the next video. Peace out.